Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
I'm Cooper Burke here with Damon the Leech Jackson. Damon, how's it going?
Going good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. It's a beautiful day outside. So you've got a fight coming up on April 9th against Alexander Hernandez, who is a pretty hot prospect at 145 pounds. What does this opponent in this fight mean to you?
I mean, it's just, after dropping the loss to Danny Gay, it's just a good way to get back in the mix. He's a tough dude. I know he's coming from 55, but, at one point in time, he was in the top 15 and 55. So beating him would be a big win no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. What's one thing that you've seen technically that he does that you and your team have tried to hone in on and really focus?
He's super aggressive. I see that a lot. He's very aggressive, and that doesn't always work good for him. I know it does. Every once in a while he does well with it, but he's really aggressive. It doesn't work that well for him most of the time, and it seems like every fight that's who he is.
For sure, for sure. How do you feel that, you're pretty wrestling heavy. How do you feel that that style matches up against his?
Oh, man, I think he's definitely got to worry about that the whole fight because he doesn't do well off his back. He does do a good job of getting up. So that's something that I really had to press with my wrestling and jiu-jitsu. But, I love the matchup for grappling-wise. I love that matchup. And, I'm back to 100% with my wrestling. I'm training full-time wrestling now again. So, it just feels great. I had tore my pec about a year and a half ago. And I'm healed up from that, and I feel great.
Yeah. Do you think that that injury had any impact on your mental side of things? Because a torn pec is no joke.
Yeah, my last three fights, I've had it messed up. The Pat Sabatini fight, I caught him with the front kick, which helped me not wrestle, which was huge. And then Dan Inge, I could not figure out a way to get in on him and secure a takedown because I didn't wrestle the whole camp. And so my wrestling just wasn't there. And he ended up catching me, So, and, the Billy Q fight, I felt pretty good going into that fight. And I'm not really sure what happened to my body, but it seemed like, things just shut down. And I really wasn't wrestling the whole camp either. And I had wrestling season here in Rockwall, and I helped coach the middle school team here. I helped with the high school a little bit. And, I got to wrestle with all those kids, and I've just been getting to wrestle a lot more. And now, I feel back to my normal style where I kind of go in there and engage wrestling when I want to. It's, really helped my stand-up too.
Yeah, of course. How does it feel fighting in the co-main event, trying to put yourself in a spot to maybe jump in the rankings next time out?
Yeah, man. I think it's everybody's kind of going for is to get into that top 15, top 10. So, right now I'm just like worried about this fight, taking care of business, like co-main event, first fight of the night. Like, I don't really care. I'm just ready to go. I know it's going to be a good fight. I know that it's a tough matchup for both of us. And I know that, being that co-main event doesn't mean a whole lot, but it definitely is, it's cool as a fan of the sport. So it's always cool to be jumping up there in the mix of co-main or main event. So ready to roll.
Sure, yeah. What's the biggest thing you've picked up in this camp, opposed to others that you want to use going forward?
Just a lot of new stand-up stuff. I've really been since I tore my pec, I had to kind of alternate my style a little bit, change some things up, and you kind of do that every camp, depending on the style of fighter you're going against. But it seems like this camp, I did that a lot because this last year and a half, I've really had to change my style. But now that my wrestling's back on point, it's only helped my striking, with everything else. It's helped striking and wrestling. So,
Yeah. How does training out of Fortis and in your gym help you as an athlete, both mentally and physically?
I'm getting to work with a lot of young guys here at my place. A lot of guys that had never really done anything. So Just showing them the basics of how to drill, how to, eat clean, how to make weight, things like that. It's been a good refresher for me. I've been getting to lift weights more, do a lot more of my upper body and stuff. So I've been in, really good shape, working with these young guys. And then I'm going to Dallas and I'm getting to actually do the stuff that I'm working on with them. I'm actually getting to do that in practice. And, it feels great to be back to feeling normal.
Yeah. Is there anything that those young kids have taught you that you've like kind of learned from observing them?
A lot of it is just remembering, like, when I first started, I had all these goals, and I always thought that I would be happy if I got to this goal or if I did this one thing. And I've kind of taken a step back and looking at all the stuff I've done. Like, these are things that I look back on, and I always, like, whenever I was young, I was like, oh, once I get to the UFC or once I do this or once I make this amount of money, I was going to be happy. And I just kind of, it helps me see how much I've done and see how much that I want, like, things to get better. And that's really what I've been focused on, is just, trying to be all around better, better coach, better person all around. So it's been nice to kind of get that constant refresher from these young guys.
Yeah. Has your mindset changed at all? Just with these past couple of fights and your injury and how that ended up going, do you feel like you're kind of in do or die mode here?
I kind of feel like every fight's important like that. It's kind of like if you have to go out there and you flop a fight, they're not going to give you a good matchup on your next fight, so you better be ready to go. And I think just looking at the standings of everything and that last fight, they actually came back to me after the fight was over and told me that they thought I won the fight. So I don't really feel mentally like I'm on a 2-fight losing streak. I just feel like I gotta, definitely go out there and have a good performance to show them that, I'm still capable of being that top 15. And this is definitely a big test.
Yeah, absolutely. You had a 4-fight winning streak previously in the UFC. Does that keep you going mentally at all? Knowing that you can hang with some of the best guys in the world?
Yeah, for sure, man. It definitely is something that, like, like anybody can win, anybody can lose at any given time in this sport. The sport's crazy. You got that 4-ounce gloves on. Anyone can get hurt, and so you got to go out there and be ready to go, no matter who you're fighting against. And having a tough opponent like Alex, definitely gets me on edge, wakes me up in the morning. It keeps me mentally going through all the tough workouts. And I'm just ready to go out there and prove myself. It seems like I got to do that a lot. It seems like I'm always the underdog. So coming into this fight, I don't feel that way mentally. I don't feel like I'm an underdog at all. I love the matchup, and I'm just ready to get out there and show everybody what I've been working on. And I know he's gonna be ready to go.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You had a previous run in the UFC. What did you learn from your first time in the promotion that you've kind of applied in your second go round?
I made it to the UFC. I'd only been fighting for a year and a half when I made it in. So that's a completely different fighter. That record, those performances were just like a very beginner level guy. I was in the UFC a year and a half in. I was out of the UFC 2.5 years into my pro career. I was in and out of the UFC. So that was just the beginning of my career. I had a pretty good run with LFA, such an awesome promotion, and went through them. And then when I came back to the UFC, I was a completely different fighter. So I can hang with these guys. I can fight these guys. I've learned so much this year, and have a lot to be motivated for right now.
Absolutely. What did it mean to you, getting that phone call that you've made it back in the show, and all your hard work's, paying off once again?
Man, it was huge because during COVID, it seemed like nothing was happening. Everything slowed down. Work was slow. No fights were going on. And when you're a fighter, all you think about is the next fight. So you're always thinking next fight, next fight, next fight. And when COVID shut down everything, it was crazy. And then you started, getting some hope whenever you saw all the UFC cards, like people dropping out and stuff. So during that time, basically we had no practices. All I could do was like run and stay in shape. And, so I was just trying to keep my weight ready to go just in case. And I actually told my coach, I was like, hey, Bethik Massad's coming up. He's 3 weeks out. I guarantee you this guy's going to pull out. And then nothing happened until the week of. And then his guy pulled out like on Monday or Tuesday because of COVID. And just got lucky as hell, man. Got to step in. So I was ready to go mentally, but you never know when you're gonna get that call. So I was cool to get that call again.
Yeah. Do you like the Apex and the kind of peace and quiet, or do you prefer, some of those bigger arenas?
Shit, no, I love the PI. I love the UFC. How they have everything set up is great. But fighting in Nashville, that was probably the coolest thing I've ever. Definitely the coolest venue I've ever fought in. And I'm ready to get back out there with fans, man. I want to go out there and take care of business next week, and then go out there and have a good performance on a big show with some fans.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think that the smaller octagon changes your fighting style at all? And are you trying to
Yeah, for
incorporate that into
sure.
your game plan?
Anybody that's a grappler is gonna appreciate that because there's just less room to move. Makes a pretty big difference on your cardio, the mindset, getting your fights to the ground, and things like that. So this might be a 3-round stand-up battle, man. He's got good wrestling defense, so we might be standing up the whole fight. So who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. What's your goal for this year going forward?
Man, I want to stay active. I want to get out there, have a good performance. Hopefully, I don't take a lot of damage, and I can get back in there, as soon as possible. And I want to stay busy. I opened my gym last year, and that kind of kept me distracted. I was really busy with that. So now that I've got things rolling with it, everything's going great. I would just like to have a busy year with fighting and kind of be a little selfish this year and pick over some fights and stay ready for some short notice fights too.
Yeah. You have been all about that short notice. I remember you won it on that card with Darren Elkins, and you told Alex Bahunin that you were going to bring your whole family there. So what has it been like opening your own gym and having that to kind of see as an accomplishment this year?
Yeah, no, like opening my own gym was huge. It was definitely a big learning curve, but it's just kind of the life that I set out to do whenever I started training for, just being athletes. Actually, that was my job, was training people. And, kind of doing that for so long, it really just made sense to open a gym. And so to actually get that done, it's hard to do. It's way different than just saying you're going to do something. There's a lot of moving pieces, and just taking a few months and focusing on that, and not just fighting has been great. And I think that just moving forward mentally and financially, having the gym is going to put me at a different level with fighting.
Yeah. I've got a couple more questions. So your nickname is the Leech. I've always been curious. How did you get that nickname?
Just my buddies in college. I started fighting in college, and I was always Cadillac. That was my nickname, like all the way through high school, going into college. My nickname was Cadillac because I used to run cross country, and this old man used to call me Cadillac. And so my name was Damon Cadillac Jackson when I first started fighting. And then one of my buddies, like, he loved Anderson Silva, and so he was like, you should be the Leech, because I always had good top-bottom control in wrestling. And one day, he said that, and then like one day I was wrestling this heavyweight, and he couldn't get me off his back. And my coach was like, my college coach was like, oh, you're like a Leech. And so when I started fighting, they started calling me the Leech, and it just kind of took over my Cadillac name. So
That's awesome. Yeah. One last question. You've spent some time at Missouri Valley College. What did that teach you in your time wrestling there?
yeah, man, they gave me a great opportunity. Missouri Valley College is a great school. Coach Michaels and Coach D, they really helped me a lot because I was either going to go military or I was going to go to college, and my grades were trash. I couldn't get accepted anywhere. So I was a good wrestler, but I just couldn't get accepted anywhere. And so they gave me the opportunity to wrestle, and I knew that I wanted to fight. And I knew that if I had a really good wrestling day, that would be the best thing to do was to wrestle in college and then to fight on the side. And so I went to school, all 4 years and I did a redshirt year, so 5 years. And I got to fight the whole time I was in school. Every summer I would fight and just wrestle all year. And it made me, definitely made me the fighter that I am. And the mindset of what I have now is, it's just no weak links from Mo Val. It's stuck with me forever. And, just a great school, great opportunity. And, it's been awesome.
Yeah. Sorry. What can we expect from you in this fight and going forward this year?
Hey man, I'm gonna be active, man. I'm gonna come out there aggressive. He's gonna be aggressive. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. I promise you that. And man, I'm just a different person this year, man. I've really changed some things up, and it's been a good start this year, and I'm excited to see where it goes this year.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're all excited to see what you've got cooking. So, everybody, this is Damon the Leech Jackson. He fights Alexander Hernandez on April 9th at the Apex. Make sure to tune in. Can't miss fight.